areas that the government has been looking towards, trying to shift from oil and all that. So I'll just go straight to my presentation. So on the first slide, once again, my name is Godwin Akpama, a staff of the Federal Land Revenue Service. I'll be sharing briefly in the few time I have navigating regulatory compliance that has to do with filing returns for businesses, basically for businesses. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, the next slide is the table of, okay, what we should know. In other parlance, it's called table of contents, what we should know. I'm going to be talking briefly on what is a tax, the responsibilities of the taxpayer, types of taxes as it relates to businesses, whether small or large businesses, and the requirements for filing tax returns. And for not filing, there are penalties associated with non-filing, and I'll conclude. So let's go to what a tax is, which is the best place to start from. Okay, tax is a compulsory levy imposed by government on the income of individuals and corporations as revenue for running the activities of government. You know, what people, like I said earlier, what people don't want to hear is that come and pay tax. From the definition, it's compulsory to pay tax, even though there are tax evasions and tax avoidance. And we know that tax avoidance is actually a crime. Evasion is a crime, but avoidance has to do with tax planning, which is allowed in the tax law. And I said the key words here is the definitions of compulsory and levy. It is compulsory and is a levy. It's compulsory because you don't have a choice. If you have a choice, it means you are tending towards evading the law, which is not really proper. It is compulsory, meaning it's not optional. Every individual is expected to pay taxes, whether be it payee as an individual or the taxes that relate to businesses, which I'll discuss later. Okay, it should be noted that recent legislations have considered the plight of small businesses because small businesses are supposed to grow. So what are the legislations to enable or to encourage businesses to grow? So recently the Finance Act, I would not want to bore you with technicalities, but the Finance Act has made it easy for small businesses to grow. Because if small businesses don't grow, we may not be able to collect our taxes as effectively as we should. Next is that a taxpayer, the first place to start from is that a taxpayer is expected to obtain a unique identification number from the relevant tax office called the TIN, Taxpayer Identification Number. I will also talk about that as we proceed. And another important thing to note as it relates to tax is the relevant tax laws provided threshold for businesses. You know, before we have businesses just classified as private businesses and public businesses. That's public limited liability businesses. If you are a private business, you are supposed to get your identification number from the state where you reside, where you operate from. And if it's a public limited liability company, you are supposed to get your taxpayer identification number from FIRS. And you know, the legislations now has made it easy for small businesses to thrive. How do I mean? Small businesses don't pay the same tax rate as the big businesses. That was not so before now. But you know, evolving tax laws, you know, tax laws are supposed to reflect economic realities. As things are changing, tax laws are changing. So can we move to the next slide, please? I think the next one is the responsibilities of a taxpayer. Responsibilities of a taxpayer. Yeah, thank you very much. Now, when we say responsibilities, it means you don't have to be followed to do these things. The fact that you are a Nigerian, you are a citizen, you are supposed to be a taxpayer. Number one, if you are employed, fully engaged, or you run a business, you are supposed to be a taxpayer. And these are the responsibilities. A taxpayer is expected to file his returns for his or her taxes. What do we mean by returns? Returns is simply the affairs of the individual or business. What have you been doing? And another thing I forgot to say is that there's what we call the self-assessment regime, where a taxpayer is expected to just assess yourself. You don't have to wait for any tax man or woman to approach you. You assess yourself, then you come forward to the tax office and say, this is how I've assessed myself. This is what I've made. So you can now, and you also tax yourself. Then you can now present those documents. It's now taxpayer is expected to keep proper records for their businesses. This is very key, because how can you assess yourself when you don't keep records? And one of the things I advise small businesses is, whatever you are doing, keep records. For example, you are into maybe sales of children wear. When you go to the market to buy your stuff, how much did you spend? And the cost associated with what you are doing is not just the cost of the product. When you went to buy it, you incurred transportation, maybe offloading and loading of the goods, maybe pack fees and all that. Those are supposed to form part. So you keep records. And most people don't like keeping records. They say, no, this one is just 1,000 naira now. That 1,000 naira can mean a lot to your business. So you should keep appropriate records. You can have a notebook, just a layman record. Just, you went to the market today, you bought this, you spent this today. Every day you keep records with dates. Now, the requirements for filing includes filing of relevant forms from the tax office. This will be explained later. I also talked about the fact that the Federal Revenue Service has made it easy for taxpayers to file their returns. How do I mean? There's a solution now that is called the Tax Pro Max. You can assess yourself on Tax Pro Max. You can even get your tax clearance certificate from Tax Pro Max on your own, provided that there are no issues, there are no assessments that have been raised that you have not paid. You can do all that from the comfort of your home. That is one of the ways the FRS has made life easy for small businesses. I also stated earlier that small businesses, which we call enterprises, not limited liability companies, you are supposed to file your returns in the state's internal revenue service where you reside. Please, let's take note of that, because you hear people having businesses in Zamfara and they want to file returns in Abuja. It's not right. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Where you are resident is where you are supposed to organize all your tax affairs. But it's different for a limited liability company. A limited liability company where you are resident, there is an FRS office in all states of the federation. So if you have a limited liability company registered with the CAC, you approach any close FRS office to you, and they will give you all the forms to fill. Can we go to the next slide, please? I'm trying to work within my 15 minutes. Now, types of taxes. It is important to know, as a business person, what kind of tax are you supposed to pay? There are taxes that are common to all businesses, or what are you actually supposed to pay? First is the company's income taxes. We call it the CIT. You are supposed to pay these taxes: education tax, withholding taxes, and payee. Let me explain. The company income taxes is just for limited liability companies. Please, let's take note. Limited liability companies, not for enterprises. Enterprises do not pay company income taxes. They don't. The next is the education taxes. Education tax is a function of the company's income taxes. How do I mean? It's a percentage of the company income taxes that you pay as education tax. Now, withholding taxes, this is in two variations: withholding taxes for the enterprise and withholding taxes for limited liability companies. How do I mean withholding taxes? For limited liability companies that deal with suppliers that are limited liability companies, the law empowers you to deduct a withholding tax depending on the transaction. It's between 5 and 10%. For example, consultancy is 10%. So if you are engaged in consultancy and you are outsourcing some of your jobs, and you are supposed to pay the person that you are outsourcing to, the law empowers you to deduct 10% of that amount payable to that client as withholding taxes and remit on behalf of that client. So when you are withholding taxes is actually an advance payment of taxes. So that for limited liability companies, when you have withholding taxes deducted from your jobs or your contracts you have done, by the time the FIRS assesses you on company income taxes, your company income taxes can now be defrayed using your withholding taxes that has been deducted in advance. So that when you have the company income taxes, some people say, they cannot pay this money. No, it's not like that. You use your withholding taxes because it has been deducted in advance from you to set off the company income taxes. I didn't have to go through giving you computations since it's just an open class. So pay as you earn is the one that affects the small businesses, the pay as you earn. You know, the pay as you earn, especially if you have staff that you pay salaries, you are supposed to file this return to the state internal revenue services, you know, to say, this is my staff. There's also a rate for the payee. There's a standard rate. Maybe I will share it with the organizers later so that they can circulate to everybody. There's a standard rate for the payee. And there's a law recently through the Finance Act that provides that anybody earning below the minimum wage, which for Nigeria is 30,000 at the moment, anybody earning below the minimum wage of 30,000 should not pay taxes. That is very key. Anybody earning as an individual, earning below the minimum wage of 30,000 should not pay taxes. But note that that does not mean that that business should not file its returns. Later, we are going to see the penalties for this not filing returns. That does not mean you should not file returns. You file returns and say, okay, I have 4 staff. Each of them collect 25,000 each. So by the virtue of the law, I'm not supposed to deduct payee from them. You bring the affairs and submit to the State Internal Revenue Service. So that is very key. So can we move further to the requirement? This is the main crux of this webinar. The requirements for filing for taxes. Firstly, a taxpayer registers with the CAC, whether as a limited liability company or as a business name. I've explained this earlier. So the first point of call is registration of business. Let me also know that if you have a business and it's not registered, you are not doing yourself good. You are not doing yourself good. No matter the business, even if you are not ready to start, you have an idea of a business, register it. Because most times when you are not ready to register, you discover that that name that you want to use is no longer available. You will now be faced with the issue of trying to get another name and all that, and it takes time. So register your business with the CAC. If you are not ready to register as a limited liability company, you can register as an enterprise. There are provisions to convert later to limited liability companies as the business grows. So first, register with the CAC. The next point of call is the taxpayer visits any tax office nearest to him or her. You know, for the enterprise, private business, you visit the State Internal Revenue Service where you are residing. And for public limited liability companies, you visit the FIRS closest to you in any state. Like I said earlier, we have FIRS presence in all states of the Federation. The third is that the taxpayer assesses his or her taxes based on your income. It now goes back to the fact that I said you need to keep records. How do you know your income when you don't keep records? Most people get it wrong and say they've sold 1 million naira and that is what is your account, that is your income. That is not your income, because to make that 1 million naira, there are costs associated with that 1 million naira. So until you remove those costs from that money, before you now have your income, you remove other costs like cost of sale, that's cost of running the business, cost of salaries, if you are running a generator, the cost of fueling and all that, cost of stationery, you know, whatever you use to run the business. Very important. So you assess yourself based on the income. Next is that the taxpayer fills the assessment forms and file tax returns to the appropriate authority. Like I said earlier, that this has been taken care of by the tax promas, but this is only beneficial to the limited liability companies. But as an enterprise, you still have to go to the state internal revenue service to fill the required forms. The next is that the taxpayer deducts the appropriate taxes. This is also key. How do you deduct the appropriate taxes when you don't have the right income? This also, you can go to the nearest tax office close to you and they'll give you more understanding of what you should do. Next is that the taxpayer pays the taxes due. For some of us that are into small businesses, and for purpose of clarity, small businesses, for the purpose of the law, are businesses that don't make up to 25 million naira in a year. I'll go over that again. Small businesses are businesses that don't make up to 25 million naira a year. And if you don't make up to 25 million naira a year, you are not supposed to pay taxes. Let me say that again. If you don't make up to 25 million naira a year, you are not supposed to pay taxes. That does not guarantee also that you should not file your returns. It's very important. Like I noted earlier, the fact that you are not making up to 25 million naira does not mean you should not file your returns, your statement of affairs to the relevant tax office. I believe I will entertain questions later. So the next is that if you have assessed yourself and you have paid the taxes due, then the evidence of payment is not attached to the returns you are making to say, this is my affairs, I am into a social business, I have sold social units, I have expended this and this amount, this is what is remaining as my income, so I'm taxing, this is my taxes based on the income I have assessed myself. I attach the evidence of payment and submit to the tax office. It's now the tax office that will answer, okay, let us go through what this person has submitted. They have their ways of getting to know, okay, is this person really transparent? They may also call for your books. Remember, initially I said you need to keep records. They may call for your books. And if you don't have books, it's another problem entirely. That's why I advise small businesses, when you start, keep your records, keep records. If you are sending somebody to go and buy something of 100 naira, keep records. You may not have the receipt for 100 naira because of the amount, but keep records. It's very important. If you write it in a book, on 20th of March 2024, I sent my girl to buy fuel for 1,000. Just write fuel 1,000. Keep those records. And as time goes on, you can seek for tax consultants. When we say tax consultant, not big tax consultants. Maybe people that can just help you put your affairs together, that will help you do the right thing. Then, last but not the least, is that the taxpayer cannot apply for a tax clearance certificate, basically for limited liability companies that want to bid for jobs and all that. Okay, let's go to the penalties for not filing appropriately. The next slide, please. Penalties as it applies to taxes. Thank you very much. Now, we've talked about the company income taxes. The law provides that failure to file company income taxes returns attracts a penalty of 25,000 naira for the first month of not filing and 5,000 naira for each subsequent month of default. This is very key. I used to tell people, most times, the money you will now be expected to pay for not filing returns is most times 90% more than the taxes you are supposed to pay. So it doesn't make sense. Why will I want to pay taxes of 1 million and for penalty I'm paying 5 million? It doesn't make sense. That is why it is encouraged that you file your return as and when due. Very important, because for CIT, for a new business, you are supposed to file your returns at least 6 months into the incorporation of the business, or 18 months, whichever comes earlier. You file your returns, and it's usually done once a year for CIT. I think the time for filing CIT is 30th of June. That's the deadline. So if you have not filed and you have a limited liability, you still have up to 30th of June to file your return so that you don't have penalties coming to you. Value-added taxes. This is taxes on services, goods and services provided. And also for not filing this, the fine is 50,000 in the first month of failure and 25,000 naira for each subsequent month. Somebody will be asking, why is the VAT more than the company income taxes? Because the VAT is a key aspect where the government churns out revenue more than the CIT, because there's nobody that does not go to the market to buy things, you know, and all that. So VAT is mostly charged. Even when you go to eateries these days, VAT is usually charged. When you go to Cold Stone to buy ice cream, you will see your receipt, VAT, they charge VAT. So if that company does not file for this VAT, for the first month of not filing, because VAT, you are supposed to file VAT before the 21st of every month. 21st of every month, you should file your VAT and your withholding taxes. You should file. If you don't file, you'll be liable to penalties, right? Let me also say at this point, like I said earlier, if you don't make up to 25 million naira a year, you are not supposed to pay taxes. But
Hello?
that does not mean, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, we lost you for a bit, that's why.
Okay, from when? Is it from,
Hello?
okay, the penalties?
Mr. Godwin, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, your network is fluctuating a bit, so
Okay.
we can't hear you. Yes,
Okay,
but it's fine
how are
now.
we doing now? Okay.
It's
Okay,
fine
so
now.
okay. I was talking about the penalties for company income taxes and value-added tax, as is in the slide. Like I said, I encourage businesses to file their returns to avoid this penalty, because most times, like I said earlier, the penalties is usually more than the taxes you are supposed to pay. So it doesn't make sense in the real sense of it. How can I be, so I want to pay a tax of 1 million, and by the time they calculate the penalty, for example, this CIT, for example, if you don't file maybe for 2023, you are supposed to file 2023 accounts in 2024. I don't file up until June. The impact is 25,000 naira for January. Then when you calculate February, March, April, May, June, that is about 5 months. So 5,000 naira times 5, that's 25,000. Then plus another 25,000, that's not 50,000. So you can imagine for somebody that has not filed for years, by the time you multiply 50,000 by the number of years, you can imagine what is amounting to. That is the issue. So file your return as and when due. You don't need to make money to file returns. Provided you are doing your activities, just list them and file your returns to the appropriate tax authority. So I would like to be concluding at this point. The next slide of my conclusion. Okay. In concluding, it is important that every business that wants to grow must maintain adequate records of its income and expenses. It's very important. Just keep the record the best way you can. Then later you can get somebody that is maybe a consultant or knowledgeable in accounting to just help you put the records right. But just keep your records the best way you think you can. And if you need advice, you can also reach out to me. I will give you an advice free of charge, how you should keep your records. I can give you templates. I can advise you on how to keep your records, and you can do your things yourself. You don't need to go and spend money for any tax consultant. That is by the way. Secondly, every business owner should endeavor to seek knowledge. This is very important. Just like we are seeking knowledge today. What are the taxes that apply to my business? How do I pay my taxes? How do I assess my taxes? We must endeavor to seek personal knowledge on these relevant taxes and their implications on our businesses. Thirdly, business owners should request the help of tax consultants for proper guidance. Just like I've said, I'll be available to give any advice anybody wants to ensure that your business grows. Like I said, the tax legislation recently is geared towards helping small businesses grow, and I've outlined most of it. So finally, it should be noted that business growth is tied to proper record keeping. Very important. So if you know you want your business to grow, please keep appropriate record. Thank you very much. I will entertain questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Godwin. A round of applause for you on that very elaborate and very extensive session. Thank you for taking us through tax from the foundation of what tax is up until the requirements and the major things we need to take note of. If there's something you kept hammering on, is the fact that we should always have good record keeping for our tax. And then we should also always file our returns, irrespective of, regardless of whether we're small businesses or a large business. So filing returns are important. So questions will be taken later within the course of the workshop. So for now, we're going to go back to our next session, which is by our program officer, gender mainstreaming and inclusion, Precious Adigwe. She's going to be taking us on gender responsive procurement, exploring opportunities in the public procurement sector. So, Precious.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, for questions, there's a session for questions later, so just write down your questions, please.
Okay, okay, ma.
All right, thank you very much. So, Precious.
Hello, good. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm trying to share my screen, but my screen is cooking. I don't know why. Let me try this again. Right. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you once again for joining in. And thank you, Mr. Godwin, for that wonderful session. It was really extensive, and I personally have taken a lot from that particular session. And I hope that our participants too would utilize every information that was shared during that session. All right, thank you all for joining in on this workshop. It is very important that we understand the relevance of this workshop, which is our aim to improve women-owned business in participating not just in public procurement, but to see how we can also accelerate progress within their businesses for them to compete within the global business sector. And one of that sector is the public procurement. And over time, we've been championing the message on gender responsive procurement with the aim of improving women's capability to participate within this sector. And the reason why the sessions that we're having today is tailored sessions is because we did an assessment and to identify some of the gaps that women-owned businesses face that has hampered them from engaging in public procurement. And these were some of the areas that we were able to identify, which is why we tailored this workshop to this specific area, and subsequently would keep bringing up capacity building workshop to ensure that we improve women-owned businesses to ensure that they can also participate within the sector. So today I'm going to do a very brief run through of what gender responsive procurement is, what is the goal of gender responsive procurement. We're also going to be looking at the relevance of gender responsive procurement, barriers of gender responsive procurement, and the opportunities in gender responsive procurement. So what is gender responsive procurement? Now, we see gender responsive procurement as the sustainable and goods and services and civil works that consider their impact on gender equality and women empowerment. It is also a gender mainstreaming tool used to promote gender inclusion through public procurement. And as we know, this particular workshop is in commemoration of the International Women's Day. And what are we trying to push out there on this particular, within this particular occasion is for us to, can you hear me? Okay. It's for us to be able to promote equality and inclusion within each sector. And as our senior programs manager has said during her speech, she has said that we're not just looking at ensuring that we get women-owned businesses, we are also ensuring that we look at the marginalized persons with disability, and ensuring that there's inclusion within the public procurement sector. So moving on. Yes, so the goal of gender responsive procurement in public procurement is to achieve socioeconomic change for women-owned business on a global scale by implementing more inclusive processes that endorse women-owned businesses, thereby ensuring supplier diversity. And I could see that from your introduction, some of you are in tech, some of you are in consultancy, some of you are in fashion, and some of you are in the fast-moving goods sector. By fast-moving goods sectors, you're buying and selling goods over time. So in all, you all are within the category of people who are providing services, you're supplying goods and otherwise. So it means that if you're able to scale your business, you would be able to participate within the public procurement and leveraging on every opportunity that comes in the supply chain and business. Now, the goal of gender responsive procurement is now to identify how can we ensure that this sector is inclusive. And like I said in my introduction, we have looked at the fact that the sector is big. It has a lot of opportunities and a lot of financial and benefits, but it's not inclusive. It is highly dominated by the men. But we want to see how we can create an equal balance for everyone to be able to play on the field, which is why we're saying, okay, how can we improve women-owned businesses? And we've identified there was a capacity gap, and this capacity gap is what we're trying to close in. So to close that capacity gap, we need to ensure that women-owned businesses are equipped with the right skills and the right tools and the right mindset to participate in this particular sector. Then why is gender responsive procurement relevant? So around the world, over 9.3 USD is estimated to be allocated to public contracts. And it's also estimated that this is one of the major source of revenue for the government. And in order for you to be able to participate within this particular sector, it is important that we have women-owned businesses that are equipped with the right skills and are capable enough to take up this responsibility. So in doing this, we'll be promoting women entrepreneurship through corporate procurement, and it's one way for us to narrow the gender gap. At the same time, we're seeing how we can increase women-owned businesses to participate in the supply chain processes, and definitely we see that it's going to increase economic growth and women empowerment. And to put in more emphasis, we're seeing a case where SMEs are involved in public procurement, in the supply chain management businesses and processes. And with that, we're seeing where there's an economic balance for women to be able to fend for themselves, fend for their families, and also contribute to the economic growth of their in the economy. All right. Why is it still why is gender responsive procurement important? Now, gender responsive procurement provides the opportunity for gender-specific allocation of resources through public contracting, and it's therefore improves women participation in business. And we have like associations of women who are suppliers, who are contractors, but this is a very small group of women, and we want to expand this particular sector. We want to see how we can ensure that there is inclusion, and we want to see how we can also gather a disaggregated data of female contractors in public procurement, thereby ensuring that there is a gender responsive aspect to public procurement. So with this, we're saying that if you notice when you're filling the form, we're asking you what kind of business do you do? What is the name of your business? Is your business registered? Because we want to see how we can bridge the gap and ensure that more women participate in public procurement. And this would enable us to know what areas do we have to support you, what are the data, aggregate data of number of women who are actually in business, and that would help us to improve women's participation. It also contributes to closing the gender gap, creating equal access to job opportunities for women and other vulnerable groups. And now there was a report that showed that in 2021, there was an increase of women-owned businesses in the informal sector, which I believe some of you fall into that categories. And it means that there's a chunk of money within the sector, but we're not really maximizing the population or the impact of the women within this particular sector, which is why we want to say, okay, let us improve your capacity. Let us create more awareness on these other opportunities in corporate and public procurement. We want you to be able to be compliant to regulation, which is why we had the FIRS representative here for you to be in compliance with key regulations, because these are necessary documents and documentation that you'll be needing if you want to participate in corporate and public procurement. So with this, we're ensuring that women are participating in businesses. We're ensuring that there is economic growth. We're ensuring that there is inclusiveness within the business sector. Then we're also looking at the way where GRP can support sustainable and social responsible procurement, identifying need for systemic mainstreaming of gender perspective in the achievement of targeted goals. And our targeted goals is we want more women within this, more women-owned businesses to be within this sector. So in as much as we are also bringing in other areas as other capacity building areas, which is filing your taxes, accounting principles, we also want you to also leverage on the opportunities within the public procurement sector. Bid for contracts, get into the supply chain management business, and that would also boost your business too and also put you on a global scale. So with mainstreaming our processes, it helps us to see the level of our impact as it impacts women-owned businesses, and impacts marginalized group, and it also impacts the level of inclusion within the sector. Now, with GRP, with gender responsive procurement, it strengthens the institutionalization of gender mainstreaming, creating the need for integration of gender components in public contracting. And I would gladly say that because of our interventions, because of the things that we're doing so far, the Public Procurement Act is being reviewed, and we're going to see some certain components that would ensure that there is inclusion, and it would definitely motivate more women-owned businesses to get involved with the process. And the next session you're going to be hearing is a representative from BPP, the Bureau of Public Procurement, and she's going to be giving you more insight on that. Now, in all, the relevance of gender responsive procurement creates opportunity for women to contribute to the economic development of the states. By such means, improving the quality of and standard of living of women within their communities and their family at large. So, in as much as we've looked at the benefit of what gender responsive procurement is set to achieve, certain barriers that affect us in achieving this gender responsive procurement. And like I put out here, we said despite the increasing number of women-owned businesses contributing to the economic growth and development, women are still far-fetched from realizing their full potential in assessing business opportunity on a large scale. And there are a variety of barriers affecting women-owned businesses. And these are just a few of some of the barriers. And from the assessments we did, these were some of the things that we're able to identify that are barriers affecting women's active participation within this sector. First is inadequate operational skills and limited access to resources to improve their skills. That is one area that we as PPDC, we are trying to bridge that gap, which is why we're bringing in this workshop to see how we can improve your capacity and to improve your operational abilities one step at a time. Now we're looking at taxes, we're looking at exploring digital technologies, we're also looking at understanding some of the documentation processes, and we also want to create awareness on what gender responsive procurement is and what you can benefit from it. Now, this is one area that we're trying to, this is one barrier we're trying to work. Now, access to social capital, network, access to information. Now, in some of our trainings, we realized that a lot of people had not even heard of public procurement in itself. Some persons don't even know what the opportunities are within the public procurement sector. And access to information is one thing that it is very, very key. Now you have your smartphones, you have WhatsApp, you have Instagram, you have LinkedIn, you have Facebook. Most of this information are not posted there. Most of this information are on some of your website, but you might not have access to some of this knowledge. So how would you know that this information actually exists? So this is one of the barriers that affect women from participating. There's also the part on sociocultural barriers. And we also realize that, yes, some women are either being abused or because of their cultural climb, they cannot own a business, or they cannot even participate in any business activities. So this is also a barrier that is affecting women-owned businesses. And through our awareness, through our sensitization, our education, we want to see how we can, break these barriers, debunk some of these stereotypes, and see how we can improve women's mentality on the impact of engaging in economic empowerment schemes that would improve them and also support them to economically. Then there's this psychosocial issue. Now, for the psychosocial issue, it's totally in connection with the ability to understand that you yourself, you can actually do it. I know the testimony of women that said, oh, I cannot run a business. It is not in my place to own a business. I cannot even run one. My husband will not allow me. It is against my culture. It is against my belief. I don't think I should be my only job is to stay at home and take care of the children. These are psychosocial issues that are currently being propagated within some of our societies. Some because of abuse, some because of lack of the self-esteem and the mentality to say, okay, I can do this. We have women who are out there who are breaking these barriers, and they are actually, changing the status quo. So we're trying to say that this is an opportunity that women-owned businesses can leverage on, and we can break out of it. And we want to put this information out there to say women-owned businesses, women can own businesses, and they can leverage on procurement opportunities, and we need to break all of this barrier. Then lastly, we have capacity gaps. Oh, I forgot to add one thing here too. I would also speak on that. There are capacity gaps too. Now, capacity gaps is one of the things we're also trying to tackle here. Most women do not have the capacity to run a business. You see businesses that run from 1 to 5 years and they're shut down. Very few businesses actually make it to at least a decade in operational in operations, and that's because sometimes they have the support of somebody else, which is not a bad thing, but these are some of the issues that are affecting us. And as we earlier said before, we are going into the digital age, and the digital revolution is coming with so much speed that it is important that we understand how to integrate some of these digital tools into our businesses. And in as much as we see it as one area that is not relevant. Okay, I don't have the skills, I don't have access to internet, I don't have the means to operate some of these things. You can also outsource too. And these are the issues that are affecting some of the women-owned businesses because they don't know how to do some of these things. And also, I forgot to add this. This was access to capital. Access to capital and financial resources is also a problem. I know that somewhere when we did some of our engagements in, I think, Kaduna or Lagos, women who are involved in small-scale farmers in Kaduna State were complaining about their ability to access farmlands. They cannot do their businesses without access to farmlands, and that's a challenge too. So when you cannot access farmland, it means that you cannot run your business. Then also access to loans, access to financial capital. I know that there are some stereotype with around women accessing loan because they have the belief that, oh, women's businesses are not profitable. And that's an issue. So the fact that we cannot access loans, you cannot access capitals, you cannot access these things that can help improve on your businesses. Sometimes even grants and some funds that it's available, you can't access them. And these are some of the challenges that is affecting women from improving their businesses and also preventing them from participating in public procurement, because in itself, public procurement is some sort of an investment. If you're not equipped with these tools, if you don't have access to these tools, there is no way you'll be able to participate within the sector. Now, how do we now improve women-owned businesses in gender responsive procurement? Now, improve personal and business capacity. Now, the reason why I am hinting on personal is because you are your business. Whatever it is you feed yourself is going to be reflected in your business. I'll give an instance of the recently the lady who was recently appointed as CBN, the CEO of Zenith Bank. If you look at her pedigree, you would see how much she has taken her time to develop her skill. She has gone to Columbia. She has gone to, she read law. She has gone to management school, and she has spent over 30 years in the banking sector. This shows how much that she has deliberately improved her capacity. And this has had a return on investment in ensuring that she is capable for this particular role. And I'll still hint back on the opening remark from our senior programs, our programs manager. She said, it's not for us to say that we want more women to be in public procurement. It's for us to have capable women who would be able to leverage on the opportunities within this particular sector. So in as much as you also want to grow your business, you also need to grow yourself too as an individual. And these two work hand in hand. So if you don't have the personal capacity, there is no way your business is going to grow. So this is one area. Now, leverage on professional expertise on evolving business techniques. And this would be an area that one of our facilitators is going to be looking at. You're going to hear on how you can utilize digital tools to improve operational activities within your businesses. And it is important that you need to start leveraging on these techniques, because this is the way forward. People are making millions of naira on Instagram. People are making millions of naira on Facebook. People are making it utilizing the use of websites for them to direct and drive traffic to their businesses. So it is important that you leverage professional expertise on evolving business techniques. And like I said, digital tools, accounting tools, all of those things will help to improve your businesses. Then debunk the do-it-all mentality. Now, the reason why I highlighted this is because in one of our workshops, someone had a that she's the accountant, she's the social media manager, she's the person doing all of the whole drafts. She's everything and everything. And there is no way your business can function when you have the do-it-all mentality. Outsource some of this responsibility. You must not, you don't need to hire a full staff. When you have need for these things, you outsource it to the experts who would help you, and you get things done. So if you keep doing it, or people would not even take your business serious, they would believe, okay, it's a one-man business. And in public procurement, there is no way that they're going to engage a one-man business. You're either a corporate entity, or you are a consortium, or you're a corporate, or you are venture. So it is very important that you learn how to delegate some of your responsibilities and engage professional expertise to improve business productivities. Utilize digital technology for improved efficiency. I've already said that too as well. Engage with women network and association. And if you look at that, you see WinBiz is on there. Now, this is an association of women. There are other associations, but this is one association by Access Bank that has helped to push out women-owned businesses out there. And this network has collaborated and ensured that they build the capacity of their members. You can also, within your local entities, have a group of women who are, let's say, women in fashion, women in catering, because there are contracts that are awarded to some of these things. I also saw somebody on the chat that says she's a consultant. There are also women there are also consultancy contract opportunities too as well, but you cannot get this alone. You need to engage network to leverage opportunities that come within this within your sector. Now, access to information for procurement opportunities. Now, this is one area too that I know a lot of people do not have knowledge about. And like I said before, improving yourself personally and in your business is very important. Now, on this part, it is not free. On the tender portal is not free. You have to, pay some amount of money to subscribe to get access to some of this information, and which is why it is important that you know where to go, which is why I put it on there. This is the tender portal for advertisement of all contracting opportunities within Nigeria. Anything that has to do with public contracting, it is on this particular portal. You get information about it on here. So by the time we share these slides, you'll be able to access the link to the portal. Then ensure your business is in compliance with all regulatory equipment requirements. CSC, FIRS, NSITF, PENCOM. These are regulatory bodies that you need to get yourself involved with to ensure that you can participate. Now, all of these documents are very, very important, because upon bidding for any business or upon bidding for any contract, you need to submit some of these documents and others, and that would be listed out by our next facilitator. And in order for you to be able to get these documents, you have to be in compliance. So every year you go to file for this document, and that would also ensure that you are eligible to participate in public procurement, and thereby also putting your business out there for other global opportunities as well. So at this point, this is not a very extensive session. It's just for us to pinpoint some of the key areas that you can benefit on, and the steps that you can take to improve your businesses to participate in the public procurement sector. So thank you very much. I think I'm done. Over to you, Eddie.
Thank you so much, Precious, for that very detailed presentation on gender responsive procurement. I hope everybody was able to get as much information as possible. Please don't forget to document your questions. Just write them down. There's a session later that will take questions for each session, so the facilitators will be able to attend to each of your questions. Okay, thank you so much. So with that being said, we're going to go to our next session, which is on process and documentation guidelines to participate in public procurement. This is where we will hear from the expert from the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP. She's none other than Engineer Eugenia Ogia. I hope I pronounced that well. She's the Chief Procurement Officer, Bureau of Public Procurement. So let's welcome her. Engineer Eugenia,
Hi.
you have the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
You can.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My
Thank
name
you.
is Eugenia, as have been introduced, from the Bureau of Public Procurement, and it is with immense pleasure that I'd like to really thank the organizers of this workshop to help us understand how powerful women-owned businesses are and what government is doing in terms of regulating public procurement and ensuring that all hands are on deck, and even the women-owned business also gets a level playing field. So I'm just going to first of all start by the last sentence in the second to the last slide of the last section about the documents that you need to participate in public procurement, and why it's very essential that women-owned businesses look to it, because it is one of the most powerful things is to be on the right side of law. And the Public Procurement Act 2007, has made it, I would say, fair. Because we talk about fairness and transparency in public procurement, has made it fair that Section 16C, Section 16.6, explains critically what you need to own. Every business, irrespective of location, irrespective of gender, irrespective of age in terms of experience, everything that you need to own, to have, in order to participate in public sector procurement is listed there. Section 16, subsection 6 of the Public Procurement Act. So one of the very first things I would like women-owned businesses to know is that information is very key. Information is very key. Out there, I like the go out there. Government is for businesses. Government is for women-owned businesses. And once you have the right information, it will help you to participate fairly. It will help you. Information gives you added advantage. When you know what women-owned businesses to look at, to be friends with, is the newspapers and the Federal Tenders Journal. Yes, you may say, well, I don't have anything. Why should I, you for you to do other things. Go to BPP websites at www.bpp.gov.ng, www.bpp.gov.ng. You will see advertisements. Look at the requirements for you to participate in that advert. Every section of the law is tailored towards exposing every player to the nitty-gritty of participation in public procurement. If you want to do restricted, if you want to do open competition, if you want to participate in goods, procurement of goods, or like some people are consultants, that's services. What do you need? Do you know that the Public Procurement Act and the regulations on public procurement has provided for individual consultants? You don't need to own a firm. You don't need to have a big office. There is something called the selection for individual consultants. You can develop yourself. The people that are talking to you are resource persons. They are individuals. Even though in this workshop we are representing our organization, but there are some people that I believe are representing themselves. They are individual consultants. So you choose an area and then you begin to develop yourself in that area. As a woman-owned business, you can become a consultant on the topic or the area that you have chosen. You develop yourself. You attend workshops, webinars. You download articles and you read. And then what do I need? For example, the tax man was telling us about our personal income tax, company income tax. You find out which tax applies to you so that you are able to meet up with the regulatory part of it and satisfy your responsibility on statutory requirements to participate in public procurement. So one of the very major things, again, I would like to say is that the requirements as published in the newspapers is general. That is the criteria upon which your documents will be evaluated. That is the criteria that they will use. So they will ask you for your CAC document. We already heard the last week I talk about it. Your FIRS, your tax clearance, your PENCOM certificate. We have heard here, if you earn less than 25 million in a year, you don't need to pay tax, but you must file. So don't sit back at home and say, well, they don't want to give me any job. Nobody is asking you to pay tax. They're only saying, take the responsibility to get government, to let government know that my business is not making up 25 million yet. It is your responsibility. The proof, the onus of responsibility lies with you for you to put your business out there. Nobody's going to come to your house and try to, cajole you to participate in public procurement. You are the one that will say, okay, this is what I do. And now I have this requirement. I have my task. I have my PENCON exemption certificate, whatever it is, depending on how much your business makes. Where can I do this? That's where you begin to look at opportunities in the newspapers, opportunities on websites, opportunities by word of mouth, or somebody is doing something. Can you come and partner with us? Agreement and memorandum of understanding each in a year. But if we put 4 businesses that make 6 million naira in a year together, we have one business that makes 24 million. And that way, you can leverage on my expertise and I can leverage your finances. Hello, did you lose me?
Yes, ma, we're losing you. We're losing you and getting you back. So we're not getting the information fully.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me clearly?
Okay,
Just
yes,
to
I
move
can
the
hear you clearly now. Yes. It's breaking again.
So public procurement rested in ensuring fairness. It's interested in ensuring fairness in the public procurement arena. We want everybody to be included. And that is why we have set the stage to say, these are the basic requirements, irrespective of your location, irrespective of your size, irrespective of the gender. These are basic requirements everybody must have. Before we now say, okay, let's narrow it down to which area, what location, what is the size. But for now, these are the basic requirements. Like I said, it is listed there in section 16, subsection 6 of the Public Procurement Act. What you must have, financial capacity. If you don't have that, how do I solve my problem of not having financial capacity? I don't want to burden my business, my young business, with loans from banks. You can do joint venture agreements with other women-owned business. Reach an agreement, sign an agreement, understand who gets what, and then you can pursue your procurement dreams by forming joint venture agreements. And then they talk about, oh, they should leave some of these procurement for some people. Well, government is for everybody. And government has, like I said, provided some of these avenues. For example, we have the margin of preference for local contractors, where most of the consideration for women-owned business would come. Local contractors, by reason of the executive order by Mr. President, the local contractors are encouraged to produce locally manufactured goods for consumption. Now, there is a policy of government that says, for example, for furniture, you must patronize local carpenters, furniture companies. If you must buy furniture for offices, for schools, for hospitals, government encourages ministries, departments, and agencies to procure furniture from local manufacturers and assemblers of furniture. Now, you say, oh, I'm a woman. How do I come in? How my business is so young. Have you learned the trade? Look at government policies and look at where it is going. Have you learned do you know anybody that can manufacture furniture? If you don't know, are you able to walk into a manufacturing company and say, look, I can do the legwork, I can bring business for you, so you can train XYZ, or you register yourself for training. Get the training, get the regulatory documents, and then begin to apply for jobs. You say, oh, well, all the jobs are already taken. How am I going to get? You will never know until you try. So that government law and executive order 003, I think, and 005 talk about encouraging local manufacturers to participate, to produce for the Nigerian populace. And women coming here. You can see how event planning has changed, has transformed completely from what it used to be. You can see how masters of ceremonies have moved from what it used to be. You see, government will not allow you to do school benches and hospital and hostel beds if you are not buying from Nigerian manufacturers. Look at PPEs. So there are several things, and all of this is if you have the basic requirements and you have capacity in any area, that area is an area of need. Every area, you can see how the world has become. It's an area of need. What you need is capacity. What you need is information. You need to arm yourself with information. Where is it happening? Where is government going? I don't know how many women-owned businesses have downloaded the budget for this year, 2024. Where is government putting money? Where is the money for this year, 2024? The 25 trillion or 10 trillion or 14 trillion, whatever the money, where is it going? I know where a bulk of the money for this year is going. Do you know where it is? How can you key in? Because no matter how much, one company cannot take it all. Because they may not have all the personnel capacity. You can come in at your level, but you need to arm yourself with information. You need to trust that if I have the right information, if I have the right capacity, I will break through. And if we have that mindset, it will help. So let us embrace getting our documents sorted. And like this, the task man told us, he said it's available to provide guidance. Because we all need, it will help in national development. It will help in economic development. If women-owned businesses can really come in. Because what we do forms the bane of our society. And Public Procurement Act has provided that avenue for everyone to come on board for transparent and equal and fair participation. And so I want you to live here today knowing that if you look at the Public Procurement Act, buy newspapers, follow the budget, look at government policies, and find the one that is not applicable to you. I can tell you it's almost zero because all of them are. So you need to look at everything, have a general overview, and then trickle it down to what you really do. The Public Procurement Act is business friendly. And there is a portion of the act that enables you to make complaints. Peradventure, you feel aggrieved, you feel cheated, you don't understand the process. The Public Procurement Act, gives you the section 54 of the act, allows you to complain to the DPP, allows you to complain to the procuring entity. I participated in this process, but I don't like, I am not clear with XYZ. It is your right for them to provide clarification. Where they fail to, you write to the Bureau of Public Procurement, where is the regulatory umpire for public procurement in Nigeria. And I can assure you, I work in the compliance department. We are in charge of administrative review, complaints, and all of that. We will look at it, you will get a response from us. We will write to the agency or the ministry or the department and compel them by virtue of the law to respond to you. And where you are not satisfied with what was given to you as a debrief, when they debrief you and you are not satisfied, you write to us again and say, I'm not satisfied. I want BPP to come in and take over this process until I am satisfied. That is what the law allows you to have. But I don't know if any women-owned businesses know that. You can even, without participating, as an NGO, as a CSO, as a woman-owned business, you can even just observe. And if you are not comfortable with any part of the procurement process, you can also write to the DPP. So these avenues are provided so that you don't feel intimidated, oppressed, or sidelined. If they refuse to give you information, write. If you ask them for information on bid opening, what criteria did you people use? I don't understand why I'm not able to go through. What criteria did you use? I hope it's not the one that I don't know about. And they refuse to talk to you. Write to us. And write, there are timelines. If you look at that section 54, there are timelines within which you must write. If not, your case will be time back. And you say, oh, well, you say that they don't do them now, that's government for them. No, follow the timeline, follow the due process. Work on yourself, develop yourself, get information, ask questions. You can write to PPP anytime on any topic in procurement and say, please, request for clarification, request for guidance. I am a woman-owned business. I tell you this is what I want to do. Ask your questions. I can assure you that you will get a response. We can even provide you with a page-by-page guidance on any topic that you choose on how to participate in public procurement. And finally, before I go, I also want you to know that for you, the documents that you require to participate in public procurement as of today is 5, and they're actually 2, 5, and the second one is BPP. So you have your CAC, you have your NSITF, the National Insurance Trust Fund, you have the ITF, the Industrial Training Fund, you have PENCOM, and then you have BPP. You have your CAC, you have your PENCOM, you have your NSITF, you have your ITF, and then you have your TCC, the Tax Clearance Certificate. Now, all of these, if you have all of these documents and you do not have the IRR, which is the Interim Registration Report generated for you by the BPP, you cannot participate in government procurement. I take it again. Your certificate from your of incorporation from the CAC, you have your NSITF from the National Social Insurance Trust Fund, you have your ITF, the Industrial Training Fund, you have your PENCOM certificate, and you have the Tax Clearance Certificate, which is your TCC. And we have learned from the taskmaster that you don't have to pay tax, but you must file it. You must file it to let government know that my business is not big enough to pay tax, but I'm here. Oh, see me. It's an act that gives you visibility. It gives you, when you come to BPP, you upload these 5 documents, and then you generate your BPP IRR. What does this say to us? We know you, we classify you, we see you. Yeah, we may not have a job for you now, but we see you. We know you. So when people talk about similar jobs done in the past, oh yes, we know this business. And incidentally, in the BPP database, we don't have a section for women-owned business. That's why I say I'm very glad when you talk about fairness. We're not looking at anybody and say, oh yeah, because she's a woman, we're not going to give it to her. Just put yourself there, meet the requirements. BPP will ensure that you get the business if you are the one that is responsive. And you cannot be responsive to set criteria if you do not participate. And you cannot participate if you don't know that these projects and programs are existing. So please get this your document, ask questions, leave us a message, call us on the phone. What can I do? This is what is happening. How do I come in? And then participate with an unbiased mind and even see how one process through from beginning to the end. And let it be that, oh, you know, I finally got this, or I didn't get it, but I learned it. Don't forget to form JVs, joint venture agreement, women supporting women. Form memorandum of joint venture agreement, have an MOU that brings women businesses together, so that what I'm lacking in finance, you can provide for me, and what you're lacking in personnel and expertise, I can provide, and together we will win. And so when you do that, you have already put your business, you know, in a visible arena. So people know that, okay, there's this formidable company owned by 5 women. If they enter here, they can tar the road, they can build the bridges. Some people say, oh, all they are living for the women is the 2 million naira job, 700,000 naira job. That's because that's where your capacity and your interest lies. If you want to do a job of 50 million, you need to also go out there and look for like minds, women-owned business that will enable you to participate in businesses at that level. You must file your tax. You must get affidavit. You must pay your PENCOM. If you're not due for PENCOM, get the exemption certificate. Get something from them to say that, look, I know I don't have 15 staff, I don't have 10 staff, but I have my records are with PENCOM. And when I get 15, I'm going to update it. We should not just register our businesses and leave it somewhere in one cupboard. Update your business. The other we talked about information technology. You have to use it to make your business visible. You have to use it to meet up with the evolving, climb in business. So I hope that we will be able to, take the bull by the horn and conquer the fear and remove the stereotype. Every woman can do everything. Every woman, we can do all things. We just need to find the right place. Rome was not built in a day. Whatever big names you're hearing today, they had the day that they started. And I believe for every woman-owned business, that day is today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Eugenia, for that very elaborate session on the role of PPP and the required documentation for participating in public procurement. Thank you so much. So please, again, I'm just going to remind us, for the participants, please note down your questions. She has said so many things about what the BPP does and what businesses, what is required from businesses. So anywhere where you're not clear or you want to ask certain questions, please note them down. We'll soon have our session on the Q&A. So with that being said, we're going to our next session, which is Why SMEs Fail and Accounting Principles by our one and only grants manager and program finance officer, Mr. Segun Olani. Please, you have the floor. Hello. Hello, Segun. I don't think he's on the call. Okay.
Hello,
we
can
will
you hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you. You are highly welcome, Segun. Please, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
Do
thank you
have
very
the
much.
slides?
Good
Do you have
afternoon,
your
everyone.
Hello,
Precious
Segun?
with projecting. Precious with projecting.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So good afternoon again, everyone. And thanks to all the facilitators that have spoken. What I'm going to be speaking about will be largely based on what they have spoken before. It's like a roundup to most of what they have spoken about. And I'll just start with this session is why SMEs fail. So what are those things that causes SMEs to fail, and what can you do to ensure that your business does not fail and your business succeed? So we are going to be looking at some few things here to tell us what makes SMEs fail and what you can do to ensure that yours does not fail and yours can thrive. So first on the list is limited access to finance. Most of our facilitators have spoken about necessary documentation. One, is your business registered? Do you have all the proper necessary documentations? Because this can limit you from accessing finance. For instance, we know that there are some things that are within our reach and there are some that are not within our control. But those things that are within our control that will give us access to finance, we should be able to have all those things together. SMEs often struggle to access affordable financing due to stringent lending criteria. We all know the high interest rates, collateral requirements from financial institutions, and this usually limits the ability for them to access funds and invest and grow. Some of these might be might not be within our reach, but those things that are within our reach, getting necessary access, registration, you have your CAC, is your business properly registered? Do you have all the necessary documentation for you to, and keeping proper record? For instance, anyone who wants to finance your business or who wants to give you loan or who wants to give you some certain facility for you to be able to carry out some businesses, we want to look at what your business is. What is your turnover? What are your assets? What are your liabilities? What essentially is the business. What is it like? What is the valuation of the business? But if we don't have some of this documentation, it might make it a little bit challenging for us to have access to financing. Not only that, sometimes the government usually grant some interventions for you to be able to access some to have access to some grants or some loans at some affordable rates to enable your business to expand and grow. For instance, we all know about the one that was done recently about agriculture, to improve agriculture. There were access to facilities that farmers were able to have access to, and they were able to build up on their businesses. So having some of this documentation available brings us closer for us to be able to have access to facilities that can help our businesses. The next one is poor business management practices. Again, this has to do with our record keeping. How do we keep record? Do we have an accounting system? Do we have a way, or do we do manual book and pen and paper recording of our transactions? At this day and age, we can leverage on the information age and the digital facilities that are available. You have different accounting platforms that you can use. Not only accounting, some even extend to do other things that will allow you to be able to keep proper record of your businesses, such that whether you are around or you are not around, you can monitor your business. You can see what your records are. You can see what your sales are, what you have made for the day. You can also know what your stock is, because that also has to do, if you have sold something, you should go out of the stock. You should be able to see what your balance is. It also helps in managing your stock. If your stock is getting low, you can be able to see it, and you can be able to make proper planning in restocking. Some of these things are where you need proper record. Not just that, keeping proper record will enable you to be able to do your necessary filings with the FIRS or your state tax authority, as the case may be. It also helps you in accessing more businesses, because sometimes some of the people you want to have business with might want to see what is your strength, what is your capacity, can you deliver? And these are where we can, the keeping record is very important, because your record will show to your potential business partner or to your potential customer that you have the ability, you have the capacity, and you have the strength to be able to do the job. Next. Okay. Lack of skills and capacity. Now, one of our facilitators mentioned the other time that you are the accountant, you are the manager, you are the this, you are the that. Sometimes it affects your business. It's important that you leverage on people that have the skills and the capacities to do different things and be able to achieve the best result for your business. So you don't have to do everything by yourself. You can outsource. You can give somebody else that can do other things and be able to get the best for you. Next is we don't adopt. We can leverage on technology. Like I said the other time, there are a lot of apps there and a lot of things that you can leverage on to expand on your business. We have the social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other places that you can put your businesses out there for easy accessibility and visibility to draw people to your business. Next is weak market research and planning. Now, for businesses you want to engage in, it's often important that you do your market research. Not that this person is doing the same thing, that person is doing the same thing, and I am also joining to do the same thing just because you see other people doing. You should be able to do your market research to see if this business is something I can do. What is the returns on this kind of investment? Is this kind of investment business things that can grow rapidly? Is this something that, what are the margins on this kind of businesses that will help, that will give you an informed decision for you to proceed on the business. So again, we have a lot of things we can use, tools we can use. It's important that we leverage on the tools to help our businesses to grow, especially on the aspect of record keeping and on the aspect of getting all your necessary documentation from registration and have all the necessary requirements ready so that when any opportunity presents itself, you can easily apply for, and it makes it easier for you to gain those access to those businesses. Okay, I've been informed that my time is almost up. Okay, thank you very much for this. I'm happy to answer any question that we might have.
Hello. Segun, thank you for that session on why SMEs fail and then the accounting principles. So hello. Okay. So the next session is from our digital governance programs officer, Dode Abri. She'll be talking on business digitization, optimizing your business operations with digital technologies. So yeah, Dode, you have the floor.
Hey, thank you so much, Edwin. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a great day and you're enjoying the session so far. So today I'm here to talk about business organization and how you can optimize your business operations using digital technology. And to start, I would like to call on one of us to share her experience using social media. So I saw on where I think it was Jane who said she uses Facebook, Instagram to promote her business, or she's actually online, her business is online. If you don't mind, Jane, could you just kindly share your experience using social media and how you've been able to use it to optimize the business operations in 2 minutes? Thank you. Hello, Jane, are you there? Does any other person want to share how they've been able to, if they've been able to use social media to promote their business online? Okay, I don't see any hands up, so I'll just get right into it. And seeing as someone is willing to share yet, the session is set out to help us understand what digital technology is, how digital tools can be used to increase your visibility, promote your products, bringing it to your right audience, and putting it in the face of it. To consider that, perhaps first of all, understand what digital tools are and why there is a need to digitize. Why do we need to digitize products? Why do we need to digitize our services, guide our businesses? And digitalization rather helps us boost efficiency in our program, in our products, for our services, and for customers and consumers. It helps us save time and resources using automated services that include invoicing. The previous speaker spoke about using accounting tools, accounting platforms to increase efficiency. So we are going to highlight platforms that you can also use to do that. Digitization also helps us make smarter decisions as many businesses, as women who have businesses. You're able to gain data-driven insights to optimize your operation, and also it helps you expand your customer base. Like using social media, you're able to put your business in the face of the customers, in the face of the target audience. Now, what are digital tools? We've been hearing, so the past conversations, all the sessions have touched in little aspects about what digital tools are. And digital tools are software applications, or basically anything, any platform you can use to help a business grow. You can use it to automate your tasks in terms of creating content. You can use ChatGPT, the most common AI tool right now, to create content on how you want people to perceive your business. You use it to improve your storytelling skills. You can use digital tools to connect with customers in various ways. And these are some of the examples of digital. So here we've seen them being grouped into PR, events, and sales. We have social commerce. We have online marketing and offline advertising. So events and sales, where you're able to drive sales, use analytics, use traffic for your website to improve your sales and improve your efficiency. Social commerce websites like Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and YouTube. And then we have online marketing as well that helps boost affiliate marketing like MailChimp, like Hootsuite. Now, these digital tools have also been grouped in the areas of communications and collaboration, where you have email marketing, like I just mentioned, MailChimp. I don't know how many of us are familiar with MailChimp, but that's the most common email marketing platform. So you use it to manage your email campaigns. And then we have project management tools like Asana, like Monday, like Trello. We have video conferencing tools like Zoom, we're currently using right now, and we have Google Meet. So these communication platforms help boost your collaboration, where you have to maybe meet with customers or meet with investors. If you have investors, you want to pitch ideas, you use these communication tools to meet with people and pitch your ideas, improve your sales. And then you have social media management tools like Hootsuite. Hootsuite is free and is also common. You can use Hootsuite to schedule posts that will go online, that will go on your social media pages and platforms. So Hootsuite connects to Instagram, it connects to Facebook, and it connects to YouTube. And you can use it to create posts. And we also have digital tools that involve live chat. So there is one that is called Zendesk. Zendesk is a chat tool. It's like an AI that you can use on your website to help answer requests that people have concerning your products or concerning your business services. And it's really easy to use and navigate. More of this will be shared later on during the resources session. And we also have finance and accounting tools like QuickBooks Online. So QuickBooks is an accounting tool that helps you manage your finances. You can use it to create invoices. Maybe you have a contract that you're working on, and then need you to either provide an invoice for me to use QuickBooks to develop that invoice, and also helps with bookkeeping tasks. So the first speaker mentioned about keeping that or keeping track of all of your records. Maybe you bought something worth 100 naira. You make sure that's written down somewhere. So you can leverage QuickBooks to optimize that for you and make you more efficient. So moving on, we're going to talk about digital tools in action. How can we use digital tools, and how are they being utilized in our everyday daily business? And One of these areas is through marketing. The most common one is through marketing. So social media platforms like Hootsuite or Facebook Business Suite, MailChimp, and Constant Contact help you with your marketing strategy or help you put your business out there in the eyes of your target audience. Another digital tool in action that can be considered is for customer care. So I mentioned Zendesk as well. And then there's also HubSpot. So these tools help you to leverage your digital portfolio for your business. So you can either say you want to improve your marketing strategy, you use these tools. If you want to improve your customer care, you use these tools. And these two tools are most common and most efficient when leveraging digital technologies, because when you have a business, you definitely want to market more. You want to put your product out there. You want to get more sales, and marketing does it for you. And the only other way for you to manage this marketing is if you have customers who are willing to buy your services, who are willing to engage with your products. So that's why you have these two digital tools in action being represented here. And when you get the presentation slides, you can use these things they will take you to the platforms of Facebook Business Suite. It is free to use. And if you have a Facebook business page already and you are not using this particular strategy or this particular platform, then you are missing out on a whole lot. Because I encourage you as a woman in business to leverage and adopt Facebook Business Suite. It's very rich. It has places where you can create ads, where you can target your post to reach a particular audience, where you can create images, create videos, and also it offers suggestions for groups that you can join to also improve and your business more out there for your target audience to see. So I encourage you to check these tools out, and I'm trying to actually rush through the slides because I don't have much time. And for the digital skills you need, the first is digital marketing. Digital marketing skills rather, and it involves social media marketing skills or social media skills, where you're able to create websites. And these days, creating websites are easy. There are platforms like Wix. There is a new AI platform that was just released, Devin. So Devin is a platform that helps you create website from scratch. So it just does everything for me. And what you have to do is maybe give approval or say you want this particular color or you want particular font for your website. So it does everything for you. And then there is also Canva. Canva is mostly used by people in small and medium businesses. It helps create images, create shorts, jiffy videos for your business that are catchy and that can catch the eye of your audience as well, the eye of your customers. And then there is data analysis. How are you able to track and monitor sales or the reactions on your social media posts? So data analysis skills helps you to do that. And there is also project management. As the person who owns business, as a woman who owns a business, you should be able to have project management skills that helps you track, monitor, plan, and implement various aspects of your business. And there's also content creation. So I mentioned Hootsuite, I mentioned HubSpot, I mentioned ChatGPT. All of these tools can be used in supporting your content creation skills. So you shouldn't just do it by yourself. You should definitely outsource. And this is why digital tools are here. So you outsource the digital tools that will help you. If you're a one-woman owned business or it's just you in the business right now, outsource using the digital tools to help your business grow better. And yeah, so how do you get started? First step is to assess your business. If you started or you're about to assess your business, added task that you spend a lot of time on that could be automated using these tools I have mentioned, think about it. Or do you currently how do you currently track customer interactions and feedback? Do you go on the comments on your post and say, okay, this person gave me a thumbs up, or this person said, nice, I love this, or I want to buy this. How do you track it? So you get all of that together and also find the right tool for you. If you want to use MailChimp if you have an email list, you have a list of your customers and they have email addresses. You can decide to use MailChimp offers free services where you can send messages to your customers. Or if you want to use decide to use that as well. So go through all of these resources, find the perfect tool for you that aligns with your business goal, and then decide to use it and adopt it. And you can also decide to start small and scale up. Now, start small and scale up means using one or two key areas for digitization. So I mentioned two areas earlier, which is marketing and which is customer care. You can decide, okay, I want to improve my marketing strategy this year, my business. And you decide to start small using just marketing strategies to improve your sales for your business. Or you can say, I want to improve customer relations this year. And you decide to use tools or strategy that improves your customer care and how you relate with consumers. So that's what I mean by start small and scale up. And then you can also decide to leverage free trials and resources. So all of these platforms, all of these tools have free trials and resources, free resources for people who are starting, for people in small businesses that you can use to start. Facebook is free. There is also Instagram is free, although you have to pay ads at a point, but then it is subsidized. It is not that much. At least the last time I checked, Facebook ad costs about $2 to $5 and convert that to naira should be about 6,000 naira. So it depends on what you decide to do for your business or the angle you want your business going to or getting to. You use all of these tools, all of these technologies to promote that. And here you have resources for further learning. So if you want to improve your digital marketing skills, you can decide to learn courses. Udemy and Coursera offer these courses. There are also applications from companies like sports, like social media today, and they offer case studies in how you can improve your business digitally. And then there are also platforms that provide reviews of software solutions that can guide you in your business. And there is also Google's Grow with Google is for businesses and particularly for women in businesses. Facebook's Women's Business also has this platform where they help women with mentorship opportunities in a way sort of, so there are stories that you can learn. So in this way, these stories inspire and motivate you to want to grow your business better. And yeah, so these platforms are there to support women-owned businesses, to help you in your journey, telling you that you're not alone, that you can do this, and you definitely can you can definitely scale up, and before you know it, your business could be a which is obviously what everybody wants at the end of the day. So yes, this is what I've been able to put together, and I hope it's been insightful so far for you. And my really for questions during the Q&A. Thank you. Over to you, Eddie.
Thank you so much, Joanne, for your presentation on business digitization. So I'm guessing that was clear, and we have more knowledge on how to put our businesses out there on the digital space. So with that being said, we are going to go straight to the Q&A session. So we'll also drop the link for the feedback form on the chat box. So please do well to fill honestly. Thank you. So we're taking questions now. I could see 2 questions already from during the session on the chat box. One was from Raphael Obina. Okay, 2 of them were from Raphael Obina. The first one says, what line of business can women in civil service engage in to avoid violating PSR? By PSR, I'm guessing that means public service reform or regulation. Is that what it means? Raphael, please, you can unmute and correct me.
Yes, public service rule. Can you hear me?
Hello.
I say public service rule.
Role, okay, thank you. So for that question, we'll have Mrs. Eugenia. Is she still on the call from BPP to answer? Hello?
Yeah, hello, I'm here. Did you
Yes,
say
ma'am.
public
Please.
service rule?
Yes, that's what
What
he said,
about
public service role. He said the question was
what about
what line of business can women in civil service engage in to avoid violating the PSR? That's public service role.
well, that will be for the head of the civil service of the federation. We regulate procurement, procurement, procurement sector. I wouldn't know what I'm a woman civil servant. I don't even know what kind of business I want to do outside my job here at the BPP. So it's the public service rule that they have to find out from the head of the civil service of the federation that will spell out what other businesses female career civil servants can jump on. But when you are in that business legal, then I can help you with the regulations on the business. But as to what business you can do, that's not in my purview.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Raphael. Thank you, Ms. Virginia. Mr. Raphael, are you okay with that response?
Yeah, I'm okay, but I know generally that civil servants are not permitted to engage in an active businesses, except something that has to do with agriculture, you know.
Okay.
So now, if we're encouraging women entrepreneurs to engage in public procurement, that means they might be restricted in doing so because they can't go into supplies, they can't go into construction, they can't go into services and so on because they are career civil servants.
That's business women, not women civil servants. Women entrepreneurs, they're already in business, but they are not in business as civil servants, but they are doing something for a living. They are women-owned business. They're not talking about career civil servants that are women. So we're encouraging women who are not civil servants, that are in business, to scale up their business, get more information and participate in public procurement proceedings, tendering processes, building of housing, building of schools, construction of marketplaces, offering consultancy services and advices to government, but not as civil servants. And they're all over the place. They don't have to be civil servants. We are encouraging the woman in the village, the woman in the town, the woman in the local government that have businesses to make their businesses more visible, increase visibility and resilience of that business by doing what government expects that business to do to enable government to see that business. It's not for female civil servants. Female civil servants cannot be here and be there. For instance, I cannot be regulating at the same time practicing public procurement. I'm regulating the sector already. So I need practitioners and operators that are not civil servants. Everybody cannot be in government. How many percentage of Nigerians are civil servants? You have more business. You are asking that female entrepreneurs and female-owned business, people that are doing pure water business, people that are doing crèche, child minding, do you know how much civil servants pay, for example, to keep their children in a child minding place or a crèche during holiday period and the parents are working, where you have civil servants that are women? Child minding business, register that business, get all the proper documentation and take your services to government and say, you know what, every civil servant, put your child here if you're at work. It becomes a business that government knows about. And when there is something under the Ministry of Women Affairs, you can point to your business because you've made your business known. That's what we're saying, sir. It's not for the career civil servant woman or the woman civil servant, civil servant.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Eugenia. Mr. Raphael, is that fine by you?
Somehow, but I'm still seeing that somehow discrimination, but I'll find out to know whether they can virtually go or legally go into that agricultural sector of business If they can legally do that, that means they can go into public procurement relating to agriculture, in spite that they are civil servants. Yes, because it is good for one not to rely on only one stream of income. You can diversify because of the economy. You have 4 or 5 children. Your salary cannot be enough for you to cater for their education, medical, and otherwise. So if you have talent and skills, you can engage yourself into agricultural related businesses, which might be approved by law if I find out by the government agency. Then if that is real, that means a woman that is a civil servant can engage in public procurement activities in the agricultural sector.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's okay by us. And if you can get that clearly and share that, that would be appreciated. So thank you. I think the next question is also by you. It says, is the rationale of gender responsive procurement mainly on gender equality and empowerment, or participation for full representation for women? So I think my colleague will take that. Precious will take that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rafa, for that question. Yes, the rationale for gender responsive procurement is mainly on gender equality and empowerment. And it's also a way for us to see that women are fully represented in the public procurement sector. And like I said during my session, we said that this is a gender mainstreaming tool to see how we can integrate women and the full participation within the public procurement sector, having identified the gap. And with that, we are ensuring that women have the capacity to be able to effectively participate. So, and like Engineer Eugenia has already said too, with knowledge on the processes, the documentations, compliance to all the regulation, would see that there will be full representation of women within the sector. So yes, GRP is a gender mainstreaming tool to integrate and improve female representation in public procurement sector. Thank you. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you, Precious. Any other questions? These were just the questions on the chat box. So we can have questions on the floor. We've had like 4 sessions. So if you have questions from, I think somebody wanted to ask a question after the first session. I don't know if she's still here. Okay, she's not. So please, if you have any questions that you have written down, maybe somewhere, not in the chat box, you can, let's have the questions now, please. Hello, any questions? Okay, a feedback link has been attached on the chat box. Please do well to fill it and give us your feedback on the workshop. So if we don't have any questions, I think we can have our closing remarks, because that will bring us to the end of the workshop. So are we all saying that we understand all the processes on tax, the requirements from BPP, the everything on gender responsive procurement, and why SMEs fail, the business digitization? We don't have any questions. We understand everything fully. That's what we're all saying. If we don't have any questions, are we saying we all understand? Okay, I take it, take your silence for yes. So with that being said, Precious, please, let's have closing remarks.
Okay, thank you very much, Eddie.
Hello, Precious. Can you hear us?
Hello, ma. I have a question.
Oh, okay. Bill,
Sorry.
please to talk. All right.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
my question is, my industry is bakery. I operate a
Okay.
home-based bakery. So whenever I'm filling such forms, such training forms, I don't usually see the category bakery, but other catering. But mine is bakery. So should I tick, even in the survey you just sent now, the link, I saw the industry is catering and others. So which one do you think is more relevant to my business? Which one should I tick?
Please, Ma, you can take catering. It's more
Okay,
relevant
I
to
should.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Precious, can you hear me? Are you ready for us?
Yes, I am. Hi. Sorry, I had a network glitch. Okay, thank you very much, Eddie, and thank you to all our facilitators. But before I give the closing remark, please, I would like us to click on the link to share your feedback on the workshop in general, because this will help us for future engagements to help streamline our area to focus our capacity building activities on. Okay, yes, we can get the recording for the meeting. Yes, after the meeting, we're going to upload it on our YouTube channel, and that will be sent to everybody too. And for you to be able to get the slides and the link. Okay, yes, there's a question for someone here. How can I keep records, and what records/books to be kept by someone who sells foodstuffs and the likes in bits? Okay, so I think this is for Mr. Shegun. Shegun, are you still on the call? Shegun's still on the call.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Shegun, if you can you
Yes,
speak,
I'm with you.
can you respond to this question?
Okay, can you please take the question again?
So I'm guessing Adelarian, you're in the fast moving goods, or you sell foodstuff. And she's asking how can she keep record of all her financial transactions since they are in little bits. Is Shegun here?
Yes, I am here. So she's into the business of.
Speaking.
Hello.
Please, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm on mute.
Can you hear him?
I am muted. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Shagu, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes. So I missed some part of the question. If you don't mind,
You
can you
said you
take
need
it again?
Okay. The question again. Okay, it says, how can I keep records, and what records or books should be kept by somebody who sells foodstuff and the likes in bits?
Okay. Thank you. So for Yeah, for things like food stuff, I believe there is a measure that you use to ascertain the level of the food stuff you do. For instance, let's say rice. In a bag of rice, there are, in our local parlance, we call mudu. There are some certain number of mudu that is um, in a bag of rice. So with that, you can quantify to know what number of this is in this. And that can help you if you go to do your stock taking to know whether whatever is in the balance matches with what is in your books. For instance, let's say for example, in a bag of rice, there's 20 mudu, right? And let's say you sell in modules. Yes. So that can give you your stock. And in terms of what you can use for your record keeping, We have things like QuickBooks. Okay, we have QuickBooks. We have other softwares that you can use. Or you can even use some basic things like Excel if you don't have access to all of those ones. Your Excel tool is a good tool that you can use to keep your record. There are templates that you can get that you can use to keep your records, which also helps. Although for large, medium organizations, it's recommended that you use accounting software, which makes it better. Yeah. So I don't know if I've been able to answer your question.
Hello. Ms. Adelarin, has your question been answered?
Okay, someone is going.
Oh, okay, Gomi, let's have your question. But wait, before you go, please, has the other person's question been answered? Okay, yes, to an extent. All right, thank you. Gomi, let's hear your question.
Okay, thank you. So it was just a follow-up question to the response that was just shared. He mentioned for like slightly bigger operations, you advise to use accounting systems. So my question is, I think my question is in twofold. One is, what accounting softwares do you suggest that one uses? And also, given you'll be using accounting softwares, do you need some form of knowledge of like debit and credit entries? And will whatever accounting software you use really suffice for like submitting VAT returns, tax, or your corporate tax assessments? So that's basically what I just wanted to ask.
Okay, thank you, Gomi, for your question. Shagun, can you answer to that, please?
Okay, thank you very much. So from the previous presentation, we also spoke about expertise, relying on people that have the knowledge, skills, and capacity. I don't know the level of your business, but you can rely on expertise of others who have this capacity to be able to do this. Now, it's for some of them, there are things that require some basic knowledge for you to be able to utilize them. Some of these softwares provide free video processes for you to be able to use them. Probably not at the professional level, but some basic things that will show you how you can be able to put your records together. And the good thing about it is that it doesn't just most of them doesn't just manage your finances. Through them, you can issue your invoices. For some of us, I know that some businesses do business based on credit. There are some people that you do your businesses with based on credit and they pay you later. These systems has the ability for you to be able to record them, follow up, so that they can follow up for payment, so that they can you can get your funds from those people that are owing you. So for some of these things, there are a lot of resources out there that you can use, either based on the site from the provider or from based on from the provider or YouTube. You can get some of the information you need there.
That was very helpful. That was very helpful. Sorry, Didion. Just one more follow-up question. So apologies, I may have missed the earlier session. So my follow-up question was in the instance where I think your advice was to, alongside these accounting tools, you could also employ the services of tax and accounting experts, which actually makes sense. But in the event, because I would assume if I'm going to just employ or seek the services of these express. Do I need to keep my own records? Because at the end of the day, when they come in, they basically take stock, do your financials and do your taxes return. So if I'm looking to save cost, it almost feels like having like an SAP or some form of accounting system and also using the services of a firm. It almost feels like I'm paying twice for the same service, so I'm incurring more cost as opposed to because the at the end of the day, my aim is to do it more effectively and of course do it or make it cheaper. So it almost feels like I am incurring more cost in a bid to do things a lot easier, if that makes sense.
Shepard, did you get that?
Yes, I think I got most of it. So my response to that would be, one, I do not know the level of the business. So it's based on the level of your business. Now, we are only encouraging you to use some of this software, but if you don't have the capacity, I recommend that you have the normal book and paper to record your transactions. The most important thing is that you keep a record such that if you want to file your annual returns or you want to do anything, you have your record that whoever you are engaging can use to put everything together to be able to help you out in some of these things. But for most of the softwares, like I said earlier, there's usually a form of basic training that slide that usually come with it, or probably you can access it online that shows you some of the things that you can do. And interestingly, most of them are very easy and simple to use. So, and some of them, you don't even need a computer system for you to be able to do this. If you have a smartphone, you can go to your Play Store or to download some of these things and you'll be able to use them seamlessly. So you don't necessarily have to have a desktop or a laptop for you to be able to have access to some of these things. So because the world is changing and things are getting easier and more accessible, especially in the digital space. And for some of these, depending on the type of software you are using, it can even help you to put some of these things together in terms of taxes, in terms of other things. You have easy access to them because as you are doing your recording and postings and everything, it automatically allocates some of these things to where they are supposed to be, so that when you need a particular information, you just go there and draw down and drill down. You can access the information that you require. For instance, it can help you just by clicking some few buttons. You can see your balance sheet. You can see your profit or loss accounts and some other things. You can, for some of them, you can even drill down to see your taxes. The resource person from the tax office spoke about taxes. So for VAT, you have your input VAT and your output VAT. For withholding tax, you are someone that does, you are someone that does a lot of businesses. For withholding tax, sometimes the business you do, they deduct withholding tax from what they are supposed to pay you and remit that to the tax authority. This is like an advanced tax payment, such that at the end of the year, when you are doing your annual returns, you can deduct that from the tax you are meant to pay. So for instance, I have done business over the year, in a particular period of so value. And from that value, my clients have deducted like, say for instance, 500,000 as withholding tax. I can claim it back from the tax authority. All I need to do is, after my annual returns, if I'm meant to pay, for instance, ₦1 million tax, I can use that 500,000 of withholding tax that have been deducted from my earlier invoices to reduce the tax burden. Thank you very much. I hope this helps.
Okay, Shagun, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bumi, for the question, and every other person who has asked questions. Thank you so much. Precious, I think that's your cue.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Eddie. So at this junction, we are coming to the end of this workshop. Thank you for your participation. However, your participation has not extended to the feedback form. Please, let's take a few minutes just to design for the capacity building workshop. So please click on it. Okay, all right, I see people responding. Now I'm just seeing only 2 persons has responded. Yes, thank you, Jane. Thank you, Adini Joma. Okay, and if you haven't dropped your email address on the chat box, please drop your email address so that we can send you the slides and the recording when at the end of the workshop. All right, so I want to say thank you on behalf of the management of the Public and Private Development Center. Thank you so much for joining in for this workshop. And as it's our mandate to increase gender equality and equal representation, as well as active participation within the public procurement space, as well as build women-owned businesses, would ensure that we design more opportunities like this. And since you're all on our database now, would be sharing with you once the opportunities are out there so that you can participate. And thank you to all our speakers. Engineer Eugenia, thank you so much for your support. Mr. Godwin, thank you so much too for your support. We really, really appreciate. On this note, I want to say thank you to all my colleagues, Didion, Dodeye, and Shagun. You guys are the real MVP. Thank you so, so much. All right, so thank you very much, everyone. And since we are still in the month of March, happy International Women's Day. Yes, okay, yes. Thank you, Jean Fabi and Fadebi, for sending in your thank you for dropping in your email addresses. And so those of you that have left, thank you too for joining in. We appreciate you and sorry for taking your time. We have extended our time to about 41 minutes. We're really sorry for that, and we'll hope to do better. All right, thank you so much. I am Precious Adigwe, and I look forward to seeing you once again for future engagements. Do have a lovely day and God bless. Bye.
Bye.
No, wait, please, let me copy this in yours.